Hey guys, welcome to the Real Deal Unmasked. So tonight we're going to be discussing on a topic that is much needed, and the topic is how to deal with the baby mama
or baby father
drama.
Wow.
So we're going to touch on 4 simple points, okay? We're definitely going to have to revisit this again.
Definitely.
But for now, let's just go with the 4 basic points. And our first point is be straightforward.
Right.
No beating around the bush. Be straightforward.
Right.
The second point is it's important that you set boundaries, okay? Right. The third point, have a meeting. Yeah, have a meeting. And the fourth point is, no matter what happens, remain united as a couple.
Right.
Okay? Remain united. Okay? So let's start off, honey.
Right.
When you look at, when we're telling them to be straightforward.
Right.
How easy is it to be straightforward when you're dealing with a situation that is out of control?
It's very difficult to be straightforward, especially depending on your spouse and the relationship that you have with your spouse, and depending on the relationship that you have with your ex. It's very difficult to be straightforward for a lot of people, because if you're honest with your spouse and explain to them that this person is a particular way and they don't accept it, then it makes it difficult. So the key thing to this is to be willing to have an open conversation, and to understand that there's not going to be a perfect relationship. Everybody's not going to have a perfect relationship, but understanding that through having basic conversations and being open and honest, and understanding that the new relationship that you're in is the most important one, the one that you no longer with, the reason that they're your ex for a reason. So understand that the most important relationship that you're in is the one that you're in now, and you have to be more committed to the new relationship than the old relationship. It doesn't mean that you and that person shouldn't have conversations. It depends on what kind of relationship you have with that person. So if it was a hostile relationship, well, you really need to concentrate and have conversations, just basically so that you can interact, you can have access to your child. The child is the most important thing, and this child is not to be used as leverage or anything, but it's important to have that open conversation and discussions with your spouse about the relationship that you have or that you had with the person, so that you can find a way to move forward in your new relationship.
Okay, makes sense. Be straightforward. So you're saying both parties then will need to have an open mind.
Right.
When I say both parties, I mean your new
spouse
will have to trust you and will have to be open to you communicating with your ex.
Right, and you communicating to them about the relationship that you may have had with your ex to a certain extent. Because, a lot of people go through a lot of different things, and you may have not have had a good break off with your ex. So they may still be hostile, or they may still want to be in a relationship with you. So
how do you deal with that though?
Well, you're no longer with them.
Yeah, but how do you deal with that if your ex is now making it difficult for you to now see your child, and your ex has not gotten over you, and so will act, the fool.
Right.
I mean, how do you deal with that? How do you help them to understand? How do you be straightforward if the other party is not open to that?
Well, let's be real. Everybody is not the same. You have people that they're gonna push regardless of what you do, unless they are able to have what they want done. They're gonna act a certain way. You can't control people, so that's why it's important to explain to your spouse, the person that you're in this relationship now, that listen, things didn't go that well with this person, and they may still be trying to pursue a relationship, but I'm not interested in doing that.
Okay.
I'm interested in having a relationship with my child. The only conversations I may be having with this person is the conversations that I need to have because I want the relationship with my child. Now, if that person is acting difficult with you or being difficult, it's important to bring in a third party. Maybe someone that's maybe cool with you, like maybe their family member, like their mother.
Okay,
Maybe
that's
have a
good.
conversation. If you're close with their mother or one of their family members that they listen to, then try your best to have that conversation and say, listen, I just need you to talk to this person. We're no longer in a relationship, and at this point I need them to understand that this is what it is and this is what I need going forward, so please help me. And if that does not work, then you definitely need to continue to have relationships with your new spouse so that you two could sit down and formulate a way on how you're going to deal with it. Now, your new spouse is going to need to have a lot of trust and confidence in you in the way that you handle it, and not be too aggressive or try to force you to move too quickly, because really and truly, they don't know the person like you know them, and you don't want to get the person upset to the point where they don't allow you to see your child.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to be straightforward. It's important to be open, because, you know, you can have an ex that's understanding, and then again, you could have someone that's trying to make your life a living hell. So you need to, when you in a relationship with someone, explain to them, listen, the person that I used to be with, things didn't go too well, so I know they're going to be difficult. So that's why it's important to be straightforward.
I think that's
because
very good.
you need the person who you're in a relationship with to know what they're getting themselves into.
I think that's the key.
Right.
When you put on, and we're talking to you guys out there, when you put on this front that everything's okay, and you know that it's going to be a rocky road.
Right.
And I think your new spouse will appreciate it if you say, well, hey, honey, this situation was not a good one, and I messed up here, and however I moved on. So I need you to know that this is what we're going to be dealing with.
Exactly.
And I think you'll give the spouse a better appreciation.
Right, and more comfort.
More comfort. So when you see the text coming in or the calls coming in, the spouse can handle it differently.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but I know that I don't know if you could agree with this, but I would also throw into, if it gets out of hand and you know you're paying your child support and they're still acting fool, I guess it's fair enough to say you need to take whatever other legal actions. A lot of people don't want to get involved with that, but if the person is not cooperating, I'm sorry, and you don't see no way forward, listen, that's your child, and it's not fair for the child to be, in between this back and forth.
Right,
Go ahead and get legal counsel on it. Okay, so that's our first point, and I know that we're gonna have to go back at this another time.
Definitely.
But moving right along, our second point is set boundaries. And I know that this is something that I think people try,
Right.
but I think the problem is not being consistent with it.
Exactly.
Okay, so touch on that.
But you have to set boundaries. You have to know that this is the new relationship. This is the relationship that I'm in now. This is the most important relationship. There shouldn't be anybody that's above or before this person that you're with. I mean, you can't let somebody be calling you any kind of time, all hours of the night, needing you to do all kind of things. If your child is of age or in a position where that child can have a conversation and speak, let your child reach out to you. Let them speak to you. Or funnel it through your spouse. If they're so concerned about having it done at a particular time, let them, if it's possible, without it being a difficulty, funnel it through your spouse and make sure that you get your spouse involved.
Absolutely.
Don't just have conversations late at night or all kind of time and you hiding the phone. And remember now, this person, you have a child with them. You're no longer in a relationship. This is your ex. So the person that you're in a relationship now is definitely going to be having some sort of feelings or things in the back of their mind saying, I wonder if they still have a relationship or this person still has feelings for this other person. So you want to make sure that your new spouse is as comfortable as possible. And that's why it's important for you to set boundaries. And that's why we say be open at first. You need to be open and put everything on the table. Straightforward, so that you and your spouse can now set boundaries. Now, it needs to be boundaries that are reasonable, because sometimes people, I don't want you to have no dealings with this person.
Yeah, that's unreasonable.
That's unreasonable. You're going to have some dealings with the individual, because you and that person created a whole child together. So you're going to have to learn to be civil, even if you're going to have to be the one that compromises for the sake of the child. You have to understand how important it is for this child to have both parents and have a relationship with both parents, and also be able to, if this person is the person that you're going to marry or you're married to, they definitely need to have a relationship with that person.
And I'm going to touch on this when you said it's okay for, if it's okay for the ex-spouse to communicate with the new spouse. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that, you should pretty much set the, we say be straightforward, and you know that this is who you want to spend the rest of your life with. Let them know what the deal is. And so at the end of the day, let her communicate with her.
Right.
I don't see that's a problem. And especially if you know that your ex is still interested in you.
Come on.
That's important. I like that. I like that very much.
You gotta be careful. You have to have boundaries.
Yeah. I feel it. We're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to touch on this, man. There's so much. You're gonna have to touch on this. So our third point is having meeting.
Right.
How is that gonna be possible? How can you, when you say have a meeting, let me understand this clearly. Do you mean a meeting with you in the meeting, the new spouse,
right, and the baby
and the
mama,
ex-spouse?
Yes.
Here, in the Bahamas?
Yes.
Tell us how that can work.
Listen.
Tell me your thoughts. That's good. I totally agree. I agree with him. I know that you guys trying to figure out how in the world we're able to sit underneath one roof without someone being hurting or drama happening.
Right.
So explain to me how that's gonna happen. What's your thoughts?
Having a meeting don't mean like a business meeting. It's just a conversation between the three parties. I mean, if you're married and your baby mother or your baby father does not want to have anything to do with your wife or your spouse, you can't force a meeting. If that person is willing and open, at least have a conversation with the three of y'all. You can have a phone call and say, listen, I have Sharice on the phone. I just want us to have this conversation.
Clear the air.
Now, if that person is unwilling to engage or go further with the conversation, that's fine. But at least you try to have the meeting so that you can make your new spouse as comfortable as possible. And your ex needs to understand that, listen, this is the person that I'm in a relationship with. This is who I decided to be with. I know this isn't something that you're comfortable with, but I need you to understand, and I need you to know, and I need you to respect this new person. If you don't have that conversation, then you just leave the door open for anything to happen. You have to close that door as well with your ex. Yeah. Some people still have their ex hanging around, and they're still interested in you, and you don't want to have certain conversations because you don't want to really close that door, just in case the relationship that you have with your new spouse doesn't work out. You always have this person who is hanging on for you. So let's be real.
That's why it's important.
That's why, because you need to close the door. You need your new spouse to know that, listen, at least I made an attempt to close the door. I'm showing you that I'm being as open and honest as possible, trying to make sure that we can have a sensible conversation. Now, the thing about it is I realize that, it sounds so easy. And the reality of it is, we have some spouses or some exes out there that really and truly, they can be as difficult as, I don't want to refer to nobody as anything negative, but derogatory. So we can have some people out there that could be extremely difficult, intentionally just trying to
just make your life
do their best to not to interfere with your new relationship, to make sure that it's not successful or it does not you don't be happy.
You can identify that.
So once you know what's going on and you identify the issues, listen, you can't pay them any mind. You have to know how to deal with it. we definitely are gonna have to have.
Yeah. So listen,
This
I
is
see you
something that we
laughing,
need to
right?
do
Well,
live.
I'm thinking the same thing. We gotta
Yes.
do live and allow you all to,
Send your questions.
send your questions in. Put us on the spot. We're ready. But you're smiling and you're laughing. I'm thinking. So, are you saying that if persons out there who may be, having the ex string them along, do not want to have a meeting because they don't want to close certain doors? What do you think? I think that's possible.
Listen, I know there are some people that do it. A lot of times
yeah.
people do it because they've been with the ex a long time and they just meet this new person and suppose this don't work out. Come on.
Leaving that door open is just that's trouble.
Come on.
So
close the door.
Yeah.
They're your ex for a reason. The reason you're no longer with them is because you decided that this is somebody that it's not working. A relationship with this person isn't something that's going to work.
Yeah.
So you have to always remember your ex is your ex for a reason.
Yeah.
They
forget. I think they forget.
Yeah.
They forget.
Come on. You can't forget the reason why you left them and you decided to be with someone else.
Yeah.
So you have to move on. You have to close the door. And that's why you try have a conversation between the three parties. Come on. You had a whole child. Kids don't have babies. Adults have children. So try your best because it's not going to be easy. And there are some cases where you won't be able to have that conversation. That person is not going to be willing to be having that conversation. So in those instances, that's where
you call the third party.
Yeah,
call us.
Call the third party.
Call us.
Call someone to try to help.
Call us. No.
You may be, like I said earlier, call in there may be a family member that can help you reach out to that person and speak to that person on your behalf. And listen, it's a process as well.
Yeah, it's a process.
You're not going to be able to just pick up the phone and the next person say, yeah, man, let's go. Let's sit down and have this conversation. It's not going to be that simple. It's not going to be that easy. You know your ex. So it's a work in progress. It's something that you're going to have to build up to.
The key thing you said is that you know your ex.
Right.
Your new spouse don't know your ex.
Right.
That's why it's important to let your new spouse know exactly what you're dealing with.
Exactly.
So last but certainly not the least of all of them is you must remain united.
Right.
And I say remain united. Don't let this get twisted. I don't mean remain united to the ex.
With the baby mama and baby papa.
No, don't get it confused, guys. You must remain united as husband and wife, or if you're fiance, you're gonna get married, you must remain united.
Right.
Meaning that don't let nobody or nothing come between you and her.
Right.
Okay, I think that, that remember now the spouse, the ex now is realizing what he or she lost, and so they're on assignment to try cause havoc in your home,
confusion.
Come on, don't give in.
Right.
Anything, and I think we would have said it to our previous videos, anything that is making your spouse feel uncomfortable, it has to go.
Right. It has to be dealt with.
It has to be dealt with.
And dealt with at the root.
Yeah. So you have to be on one accord, no secrets, okay? Anything that you gotta hide or looking at, that's uncomfortable.
Right.
You know that it's not right.
Right. You know it's a problem.
Yeah. So it's a problem, right? Why are you acting like why are you acting like that your ex is the one that's tripping out? Why do you men do that? I'm gonna throw it on you. You could probably ask me back. Why do your men do it? You know that you did something wrong, right? And instead you humble yourself, right? And come clean. You play fool. And then say we trip it up.
Are you suggesting that women don't do that?
I mean, yeah, man. So I'm just saying.
So don't say you throw it out there. Let's throw it out there for everybody.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Don't be biased.
Yeah, no, I'm not
because
being
men
biased.
and women could do the same thing.
You're right,
and they
honey.
do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be.
So answer my question before we wrap it up. Answer my question and answer your question.
Ask the question again.
The question is, okay, if you know that it's your ex and you know there's certain things that your new spouse do not like,
mm-hmm.
why do we entertain the ex knowing that it's going to cause problems?
It could be several reasons for that. It depends on my relationship with my new spouse. Suppose the minute I have a conversation with you, you It's an argument. Suppose it blows up. You always doing everything for your child. Suppose you make me feel a certain way, and for me to discuss my ex or to talk about my child, you make me uncomfortable. Then sometimes it's not, I'm not saying that it's right. People feel, if I feel uncomfortable talking to you, then about a particular thing, I'm gonna find ways to maneuver around having that conversation with you. So that's why we said earlier, it's important for you to be, everybody to be open, because the reality of it is that child isn't going nowhere. That child needs to be involved in your life. That child needs to be involved in you, if you're married, in your relationship. So you have to have a conversation between two mature individuals.
That's good, honey. So you're basically saying the reason why men...
Let's stop saying men and women.
I'm referring to what you just answered. The reason why people, I'm sorry.
Yes,
the reason why people choose to not say certain things. Some people choose to not say certain things is because the reaction that they'll get trying to do it. So basically what you basically are saying is that you must remain mature,
right,
and take it as it comes and trust each other. And walk through the process together. And
it's a part of building your relationship as well.
That's good.
Problem solving and handling issues. This is going to be a major issue that's going to be in your relationship. If it's not worked or handled properly, this can be a very divisive situation. This can cause separation in your marriage, separation in your relationship, because the person, if like I said, depends on how you and your ex separated. They can still be interested in you and doing their best to cause separation between you.
Wow,
and if you allow your relationship to succumb to that, then that's where the issue is. That's why it's important to stick together. That's why it's important to pray about the situation, have conversations about it. And if you're not getting anywhere, bring in a third party. Talk to people. There are people that can help you, walk you through the situation. And always understand that any problem that you have, it's not going to be solved overnight.
No, that's the main
Problems
thing.
aren't solved overnight.
A lot of people don't look at it like that. A lot of people feel that
they could put the
talk
problem,
about it,
right,
or some good sex.
Put the problem in the microwave.
Oh no,
in a couple minutes you get
it's gone.
It doesn't work that way.
And like I said too, some people, and I know that you didn't say anything what I said just now, some people, and I think we have a lot of people that go through this thinking that good sex, right? It solves everything. And that's a problem.
And some people think just buying gifts solve everything.
Well, that's another thing also.
So we have to understand that we're in a relationship with but you're in a relationship. We're adults. So we need to learn to handle situations as adults and not as children. We can't be back mature. And forth. You have to be mature about it. You have to be willing to fight through it. Listen, some people or some of your exes, you just are not going to get anywhere with them. If you realize that it's someone that you're not going to get anywhere with them and they're going to be a problem, you're going to have to face that head on, which means you're going to have to bring in or look for legal counsel.
That's right.
That's as simple as that. Some people will not work with you. Some people will not allow you to see that child because they know you're in a new relationship. They're not going to be willing to have the conversation. They're not going to be willing to work with you. You're just going to have that problem, and you may have that for a very long time. And that's simply because of the person that you're involved in. And that's just a fact. I mean, but that still does not negate the fact that you're obligated to that child. Don't allow that to not cause you to do what you're supposed to do.
Do your part.
Do your part. And do your part as a couple.
Yeah.
If they don't want your spouse around, then still, y'all two, if you're going to buy the child gifts, put both names on it, or just put, if the mother's going to destroy it or whatever, listen, do what you need to do to make sure that that child knows that you're a part of their life.
Yes.
Because there are some people that are spiteful and vindictive, and they're going to say bad things about you behind your back. or they're going to put things in the children's head.
But you gotta continue, like you say, pray. You gotta pray about it.
Right.
You gotta pray about it, and you just gotta trust the process. And this, it's important. Like my husband said, as a spouse, if you're dealing with this, you have to trust your partner, and nothing that you do not come together in agreement and pray for,
Right.
it will come to pass. All right. So you need to just trust the process. It's 4 simple steps. We're definitely gonna come. We're gonna definitely have to touch on
Yes.
this. We're perhaps gonna go live on this because it's a very needed topic,
Right.
and we want you to know there that you're not the only one that is going through this.
Exactly.
But there's ways, like my husband said, that you can handle and deal with the situation so that you can live in peace.
Right.
You can live in love, and you can be able to enjoy your life together.
Exactly.
So that's our 4 points, guys. We thank you so much for tuning in.
We hope that something that we said was helpful.
Please, if you have not subscribed, subscribe to our channel
And don't forget to hit the like button.
and share it with a friend.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching.
And God bless.
Bye-bye.